When you further see what happens and you further find out the truth, what's going on and what happened with a certain situation, it angers you to the point to where you just say, wow. And just more facts are coming out about George Floyd. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this right now. Any of you white or you non-black or you coon motherfuckers that try to come on my channel and try to justify what happened to him and say he was resisting arrest, and if you just do what the officer tell you, you won't get killed and all this kind of stuff. And if you don't resist arrest, then you won't put yourself in the position to be killed. Well, okay. Well, like I said, explain to me, how was it that you had a white dude from Pennsylvania fire shots at the police, but somehow, some way he was taken alive? So George Floyd shouldn't have been killed. I think what's going to happen is, I think the officers are going to roll over on Chauvin. Now, they won't be allowed. Now, they won't be allowed to come back to the Minneapolis Police Department. They probably will transfer and they probably go work somewhere else. And of course, they won't tell you where they went to work at, but at the end of the day, somebody will eventually recognize them. And here's the thing. It was no reason for them to stand on that man's neck. They had him in handcuffs. At the end of the day, the same way they held his knees down while he was handcuffed, they could, all four of them could have put him into the cruiser. End of the story. Took him downtown, and then that would have been the end of the story. We would have never heard nothing else about it. But due to the fact that you had a dude stand on his neck for 8 minutes and 45 seconds, when the man clearly said he can't breathe. At the end of the day, you arrest people. You don't have court on the street. You don't torture somebody. That was a torture. And nobody can't get past that. I don't care what he did in his past. I don't give a damn about that. And don't come on here saying, well, the police killed unarmed white man too. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. The same way y'all don't give a damn about George Floyd. But like I said, a lot of the protesting was fake outrage to begin with. Okay. It was just the it thing. Okay. Because as soon as y'all got through walking outside, spreading the Rona, you went back inside your house and, resumed calling black people the N-word with the ER. George Floyd was dead on the scene. And here's the thing. The paramedics, EMTs, they knew it. That's why they drove around the corner or drove up the street or whatever. They didn't even take the man to the hospital. Now, the report said that he died on his way to the hospital. Well, he was already dead by the time the paramedics came. They hooked him up to a breathing machine. He wasn't breathing. He was already gone. Like I said before, they had the man in handcuffs, and one of the officers said, well, should we roll him over and put him in a different position? Chauvin said, nah, he's fine where he is. Like I keep saying, those officers is going to roll over on him. Because one of the officers already said he willing to roll over on him. I think at the end of the day, most people want Chauvin. Because at the end of the day, he was the veteran officer. And he should have set a better example for those officers. Because two of them were new hires pretty much. But the end of the day is, the reason why they're going to be in a better position to convict Chauvin. Hopefully, if they do the right thing, because I don't trust law enforcement when it comes to bringing cops to justice. It's very rare that they nail cops. But one thing they could use that would favor the prosecution, if he or she really trying to do their job, is that Chauvin had over 18 complaints of excessive force. And that's another thing you need to bring into question. How do you have all them complaints and you still have a guy like that walking the streets? And that just shows you that the police have a total disregard for the commonwealth of citizens of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Or should I say, it all depends on what the people look like that's making the complaints. But this is an ongoing battle. We're trying to get justice from the police department when you have road cops roaming the streets, thinking that they can do whatever they want. At the end of the day, a lot of cops have a God complex. They do feel when you put that badge and gun in their hand, they feel like they can do whatever they want. You heard Denzel Washington from Training Day when he said, "We the police, we can do whatever the fuck we want." There you go. And a lot of police think like that. For real. A lot of them have that mentality. They have a God complex. It was several scenarios where they could have performed as police officers. Like I said, you had him in handcuffs. Why didn't all four of those police assist in getting him into the cruiser? Why did they hold him on the ground? It's no way they can talk themselves out of this. But I just think what's going to happen is this is going to be one of these cases, if we're lucky, they can get a fall guy out of this. And I think the other cops probably going to roll over on Chauvin, which they should. Because like I said, most of the blame should be placed on him because he's the veteran officer. He knows what he's supposed to do, what he can do, what he should do, what he shouldn't do. But then again, the police feel like they will be protected. And that's why a lot of them do the stuff that they do. Because at the end of the day, nothing has really changed. You still seeing police harassing black people. You still see them putting people in that chokehold. So nothing's really changed. Like I said, at the end of the day, this has been nothing but a big smoke screen. It was just, for real, it was just a front. Like people really care. Because things are already going back to normal with the police doing what they do best, which is harass black people. And don't say black and brown, because I don't give a fuck about no brown or none of that shit. Because at the end of the day, they don't, for real, they don't speak up on us. They don't speak for us. They don't speak on our behalf, so I'm not speaking on them. You could save that shit, okay? Nah, just black, bitch. Okay? But this goes on too much. George Floyd was dead on the scene. He was killed on the scene. And you heard the officer, which seems to be Chauvin, lying through his teeth about what happened. You didn't hear him once say, "Well, I put my knee on his neck for 8 minutes." He didn't say that, "Hey, I enjoyed it." Because at the end of the day, it was no reason for that. And like I said, you can save George Floyd's past. I don't care what he did. That didn't warrant him being murdered. Because the police is not in the revenge business. That's called a retaliation. You don't sit up there, "Oh, well, he did this in the past, so that gives us the right to kill him." No, it doesn't work that way, clowns. But we already know who was saying that, predominantly white people and non-blacks and a bunch of coons. And that's why I don't fuck with none of y'all. That's why I don't trust none of y'all no further than I could throw you, or worse. No excuse for that man to suffer the fate that he suffered. Like I said, he was dead on the scene. He was already gone. And that was a lie about they took him to the hospital. And then he was dead. He died in the he died in the he didn't even die in he didn't even die in the paramedics. He didn't even die for real. He didn't even pass away in the van. He was already dead on the scene. So that's all I got to say about that. I'm out.